Plastic Eric here for another exciting episode of Collection Connection. Um, my brother showed last time. Oh, damn it.
Hey there, welcome to another Thursday edition of Collection Connection, the game that is just an excuse to talk about records. Mostly I talk about records with my brother, but you're welcome to play along. His responses come on Mondays to my Thursday editions, but feel free to forge a connection to something in your collection and leave it in the comments. So Eric's last play was Dimmu Borgir's Eonian album, a Norwegian orchestral black metal band. And it wasn't so bad. Not necessarily my scene, but I think of the brands of heavy metal, I go most for kind of that Wagnerian bombast. It's more heavy by sound, but with the big choirs and the symphonies and everything, it feels kind of operatic. So it's good. Nothing I would buy, but it was not a tough listen for me. One thing that Eric didn't mention about the album Eonian is that it came after a long period of regular releases from the band from their beginning. Every few years they put out a record. And then suddenly for this record, there was an 8-year gap from the record prior to it. And they hadn't broken up or anything. It just kind of took a long time. They needed to step away a little bit and they took their time making the album, and it just took a while. And so I thought of who else had a long gap after regular releases of 8 years. And I almost was able to pull out XTC again, but they were just 7 years between None Such and their label war with Virgin trying to get released from the label before Apple Venus came out in 1999. And there was an 8-year gap between Fiona Apple's Fetch the Bolt Cutters and her previous album, The Idler Wheel. But she has had years and years in between her albums to begin with, pretty much from the outset. And so the connection I came up with, a band that had released a new album every few years until suddenly an 8-year break, is New Order. The album is Get Ready. It's from 2001, following 8 years on from 1993's Republic. And they weren't getting along real well during Republic. And so they took some time off, but never really broke up. And it just took a long time. Put out an occasional single and stuff, I think, in the interim. But yeah, it took 8 years to come out with the follow-up. And it's funny because it seemed like that really was enough to downplay their relevance. It still sold all right, but it scaled way back from the last couple of albums, Republic and Technique, which had both gone gold in the U.S. Get Ready did not achieve any sales certifications, but it's not a bad record. I enjoy it. It kind of comes from the era where I was starting to consume music more digitally, i.e. through my iTunes library, and I would import a couple songs that caught my ear and kind of set the rest aside. And so I wasn't desperately familiar with, what an odd choice of word, with all the tracks. But the ones I like quite a bit. And I listened to it a few times, and somewhere around 2008, I started importing my entire library, so that, because it seemed like if the thing was not in my iTunes, I was never going to listen to it. So I started to put all the full albums in where I had only had single 2 or 3 tracks before. But while the single, the primary single, Crystal, is fine. I think it kind of lacks the hook of some of their best singles. I do really enjoy Slow Jam, I think, is a great tune. 60 Miles an Hour, kind of throwbacky more to their earlier sound, but more guitar-y than, the overt, unapologetic synths of something like Technique. And the final song on the album, Get Ready, is a song called Run Wild, and that's actually one of my top 5 New Order songs of all time. It's very strummy, and like the Dimmu Borgir, it's got some nice strings on it, and I love it. I think it's like an understated kind of epilogue closing track. It makes me think a little bit of Every Little Counts from Brotherhood, and it looks like that's going to be my time there. But yeah, it's really good. And other songs, Vicious Streak and Close Range, were catching my ear when I was listening to them and researching or going to make this video here. But that said, that is my connection. New Order, I'll hold it up again. Ta-da. Get Ready, 2001. And I will pass it back over to Eric, who will respond on Monday. And I'd love to hear some comments, connections from you if you're watching. And if you are watching, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.